people in place to be. What's going on? It's me, Trapzilla's back. We were not going to do another one. However, Trapzilla. We weren't going to do another one. However, he asked if I had anything that he was going to look at that. Look at that. And you want to step in the ring with that? Are you nuts? Are you... Sorry. About to do a promo. Why are we about to do a promo? Because we're going to watch something by Wrestling with Regret. I've covered them before. As of doing this hasn't been posted yet. Any of the ones I did with them, but I have. This one they're covering the fucking Invasion. We were like, I don't know, we're gonna do that. And I was like, the fucking Invasion. He's like, I like the Invasion. I'm like, you did not fucking fuck it. We're gonna do that one. So that's what we're doing. The fucking Invasion. Wrestling with Regret starts right now.
It's the final episode of Reboot Month, and I'm here to review The Invasion. Why? Because I hate myself. Long considered the biggest blown opportunity in all of wrestling, and for me, the crucial turning point in which watching wrestling was no longer fun, The Invasion was about 5 months of non-stop, head-splitting torture for the fans. What could have been one of the most awesome storylines in wrestling history turned out to be one of the worst. What happened? How could things have gone so badly? Today, we try and find out. I'm going to take you back to the late 1990s, the height of the Monday Night Wars. Each week, the WWF and WCW battled it out for ratings dominance. Every fan had their own allegiances, but no matter which side of the fence they were on, everyone wanted to see the two promotions battle it out with each other in a kind of supercard setting. Everyone wanted to see Goldberg versus Austin, or Austin versus Hogan, the New Age Outlaws versus Harlem Heat. They wanted to see McMahon versus Bischoff. They wanted to see Undertaker versus Sting. Hell, a lot of people still want to see that, apparently.
They were broken up.
Rival promotions were never willing or able to create those dream matches.
Yeah, 96 and on.
The big reason as to why.
NWO's
in March of
one.
2001, it all came crashing down.
I didn't know that I was a WWF guy. I didn't watch that.
The company went for sale, but then Time Warner pulled the product off of television. Without TV, there was no benefit to any potential buyers. So Vince McMahon himself swooped in and purchased the rights to the WCW name, library, and a boatload of wrestlers, all at an obscene bargain. This purchase gave McMahon the opportunity to finally provide fans with those interpromotional dream matches they'd always wanted. But his track record with that kind of thing had never been all that successful. Remember when WCW champion Ric Flair jumped ship to WWF in the early 1990s? Or when Chris Benoit switched promotions without dropping the WCW title in 2000? Remember how well the WWF capitalized on those opportunities?
Not very.
Okay, well, past is past. The point is, Vince McMahon has all the power now. He has the guys. He can do whatever he wants. He won the whole war. So tell me, who's going to be part of this WCW invasion? Is Hulk Hogan going to be there? Is he going to be there? That's weird. You know what? He wasn't the only big star WCW ever had. I mean, what about Scott Steiner? He was one of the last champions the company ever had. Is he going to be there? Huh.
I love
Yeah, it's kind of weird and hard to think about WCW without Scott Steiner. I mean, what about
No
Kevin
accounting
Nash?
for taste.
Ric Flair? Sting? Goldberg? Jeff Jarrett? Jeez, who do you have? Damn it. So why weren't these high-profile WCW names part of the purchase? It's simple. Their Time Warner contracts were pretty expensive, and the WWF didn't feel like spending the extra money to buy them out. So they were left with guys like Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page, Chavo Guerrero, Hugh Morris, Mark Jindrak, Mike Sanders, Sean Stasiak. Okay, I think I'm getting an idea where this is headed. After the buyout, McMahon addressed the audience at both Raw and Nitro in a never-before-done simulcast between the two shows.
It was awesome. I still remember it.
At the time, yeah, because you had no idea what was going to happen. It felt amazing.
Oh yes, I almost forgot. In the midst of this earth-shattering moment in wrestling history, God, we got a pay-per-view to sell.
And the name on the contract does say McMahon. However, the contract reads Shane McMahon.
Oh my God! So in kayfabe landia, Shane McMahon steals WCW right out from under Vince's nose, just days before their big battle at WrestleMania 17. How convenient! I know they added this wrinkle to try and hype up their match more for WrestleMania and get more eyeballs on the pay-per-view, but to me, I feel this really undermined the whole importance and significance of the moment. Vince vs. Shane by itself would have drawn well enough. They already had the built-in rivalry going with the supporting cast of the other McMahons and Trish Stratus. Throwing WCW in the mix just muddled it up. Pretty soon, former WCW wrestlers started invading WWF programming. The battle lines were drawn. Then on July 2nd of 2001, Tacoma, Washington, a WCW-sanctioned match was scheduled for an episode of Raw. But if WCW were the clear adversary here, then why would Vince allow them to take over his show? See, after buying WCW, the WWF was considering rebooting the company as a separate entity that they owned on its own TV show. But no network would touch WCW, so the company was forced to integrate the two rosters on WWF programming. So, for the first time ever, a WCW Championship match took place during the main event of Raw. And boy, did they go all out to give it the authentic WCW flavor. They changed the logo and the look of the ring. Scott Hudson and Arn Anderson were the announcers. They killed the lights so it looked like there was no one there. You know, in the original WCW essence. The live audience cracked on a forgetful match between Buff Bagwell and WCW champion Booker T. Then, things got really interesting.
Oh, God, that's Austin.
That match was a lot of shit. I recently watched that match. It was mad, but it wasn't terrible.
Steve Austin, who, by the way, were heels at the time. It's not often you see a crowd thank a bunch of heels for interrupting a match, but at this point, I guess they saw it as a form of liberation. I can't say I was very surprised or shocked with this reaction.
To be fair, he's going to get back in the building.
If you're a WWF fan growing up and you've been conditioned for years to believe that WCW and all its wrestlers sucked, I mean, what kind of reaction did you expect? Any long-term plans to make WCW their own separate brand went out the window that fateful night in Tacoma. The week after that debacle, former ECW stars Tommy Dreamer and Rob Van Dam ran in to interrupt a tag team match between WWF and WCW wrestlers. A group of wrestlers came in, apparently to save the WWF guys, but...
WWF back up! The creature here! And now the big business routines!
Wait a minute.
The WWF guys are here!
Those are all former ECW guys!
This moment for the rest of your life!
I like that when that happened.
I love. See, he likes it too. I liked it too.
Yes! Awesome! ECW has been thrown into the mix and Paul Heyman is their ringleader. Alright, now this is an invasion! Later in the night, the ECW contingent merged with the WCW group to form the Alliance. That alone wouldn't have been so bad, except...
The new owner of
Yeah.
ECW.
Especially on my TV.
She was not very popular at that point.
Definitely on my TV.
She.
And Stephanie.
Oh, it was way too many McMahons for way too long.
Really? Stephanie McMahon, the owner of ECW? If that isn't the biggest contradiction in the history of anything, then I'd like to see what is. Why? Why was she the owner of ECW? Couldn't Paul Heyman have been the owner of ECW since he was, the owner of ECW? This storyline was only a month old by this point, and it was already the nail in the coffin. Stephanie being introduced as Shane's ally in the fight against Vince made one thing perfectly clear. This was no longer about WCW, ECW, or even the WWF. Hell, you could have replaced all the wrestlers with sock puppets and it wouldn't have made a difference. This was now all about the McMahons. It's the same damn thing they did in 2000 when they had a McMahon in every corner of WrestleMania. Only now, instead of making goofs out of 4 wrestlers, it made goofs out of a couple of dozen wrestlers. We move on to WWF Invasion, the first pay-per-view that pit WCW and ECW wrestlers against
very
guys
good
from
pay-per-view.
WWF. The stacking of this show is one of the few bright spots of the entire storyline. You had some pretty decent matchups, except maybe for a referee fight, and the end results were pretty even-steven. The Alliance got the same number of wins as WWF guys. One more, in fact, if you include the Sunday Night Heat match between
So does somebody else.
Scotty 2 Hottie. But this was
I
the
wanna say
overall pattern
Jeff
for
Hardy.
those first couple of months of the storyline. Every time things started to look up, fans were met with crushing disappointment. It's main event time. Team WWF versus Team Alliance. The boys from the F seem to have the match in hand until...
You know, I kind of feel like they should have had to split entrances throughout the whole thing.
The new leader of the Alliance, taking the WWF Championship with
Didn't
him.
they?
No?
So here's the problem with the storyline that really began when he
Throughout the whole invasion angle.
Steve Austin made it an official thing.
Kind of like how
The
TNA
WCW
did.
guys were already portrayed as weak in the eyes of fans thanks to years of conditioning. But now the perception was WCW couldn't get the job done. The Alliance couldn't get the job done beating the WWF unless other guys from the WWF jumped ship.
Yep.
For the next several months, other wrestlers like Christian, Test, William about it, it was just as illogical. Weren't ECW and WCW the companies that originally died out, one because of a lack of money and the other because of a lack of quality? If you were part of the WWF in 2001, then you were set. You were part of the winning team. Why would you want to join the group of sore losers bent on destroying the company that helped you put food on the table? The battle raged on that summer, each month more agonizing than the last. With Steve Austin at the helm of the Alliance, Kurt Angle was chosen as the WWF's
I hated
new
that
hero.
Kurt Angle shirt.
Don't get me wrong, Angle is a fantastic wrestler and was definitely deserving of his main event status, but this was at the time when he was still a hokey, comedic kind of character. What made Angle so great down the road in his career was that he evolved out of his howdy-doody persona and became more of a badass. That was the kind of character he needed to portray during this feud, but it never really happened. I mean, come on, a milk truck? Oh, I get it, because Steve Austin once drove a beer
Yeah,
truck.
that was so stupid. That was so dumb. And fucking pointless. I hated that milk truck.
There are
I'm
like
like, what
20
the fuck
of you.
are you
Can't you
doing?
just go over there and beat him up?
Yeah, I know.
But in late October, Angle inexplicably jumped ship and joined the Alliance. Boy, don't you fans feel stupid for cheering him now. You might have noticed that at this point in the review, I have barely mentioned anything about the original ECW or WCW wrestlers. Do you want to know why? It's because at this point, they had nothing to do with the story. The original WCW guys had no bearing on the main feud. Oh, sure, they won some mid-card titles here and there, but hell, there were a dozen belts being traded on a weekly basis. The main focus of this storyline was Austin, Angle, Rock, Jericho,
that's why you
Kane,
love the
and
Invasion
of course,
angle.
the McMahons. Everyone who was part of the original alliance was put on the back burner. Booker T was incompetent, DDP got his ass kicked by The Undertaker's wife, Shawn Stasiak became comic relief, which actually wasn't that bad, and just about everyone not named Rob Van Dam was a non-issue. This, in a nutshell, was why the Invasion failed on such a spectacular scale. WCW and ECW were part of this war in name only, but all it really boiled down to was a series of WWF feuds, a lot of which we'd already seen, but now under the auspice of some phony war with a couple of dozen wrestlers thrown into the background. It all came to a head at the 2001 Survivor Series, a winner-take-all match between 5 members of Team WWF and 5 members of the Alliance, which, I'd like to point out, featured only 2 non-WWF wrestlers. Team WWF won match, but only after Kurt Angle jumped ship again and cost the Alliance the match. I didn't care when you turned heel, I didn't care when you turned face, and I'm not going to care in 24 hours when you turn heel again. The Alliance was defeated, the Invasion was over, and years later, we still haven't gotten the awful taste out of our mouths. Good God almighty, I feel like I was a victim of the biggest bait and switch of all time. This moment was supposed to be epic. I mean, do you remember what I promised earlier that I would reveal why these interpromotional matches never happened when WCW was truly on its own? Here's the reason. Ego! See, wrestling promoters and bookers all have tremendous egos, and if you try to take your ideas and put them up against another guy's ideas, chances are there's going to be a big friggin' impasse. That's why a true WWF versus WCW feud would never have worked, and it's also why the Invasion didn't work. You had one promoter's ego going uncontested, Vince McMahon's, and when a boatload of wrestlers came in who weren't his, well, of course he was going to write the story his way. Everyone likes to think the Alliance totally got destroyed throughout the program, but in reality that wasn't the case. When I researched show results over the course of that feud, I found that when it came to wins and losses, the teams were about dead even. Pay-per-view wins were slightly skewed toward WWF guys, but by and large, there was never a clear lead in the race up until the very end. But that even-Steven booking was another problem with the storyline. See, in the interest of fairness, I would imagine the bookers made it so that WWF and the Alliance were booked kind of evenly. They had the same number of wins and losses. But you see, the best rivalries in all of drama and entertainment, much less wrestling, are the ones where you don't really know if the good guys, in this case WWF, are going to win. They made the Alliance look on par with WWF, which in one context you can see that's a good thing, but really it made them look almost as bad if you just had them jobbing out every week. They needed to look convincing, and they needed to really show their authority over the WWF in order to look like a convincing threat and make it a more compelling storyline, but it never happened.
Well, they
Another
weren't
thing that hurt the Alliance was the fact that other than Booker T and
Which
Diamond
was in the
Dallas
first couple
Page, there
episodes.
were no huge names because of the aforementioned contract issues.
So they
But
were
in
just
time,
Austin was
Hogan,
unbeatable.
Hall, Nash,
Yeah.
So then
Steiner,
they needed to
Flair,
switch him.
Goldberg, and Mysterio would all come into the WWF fold. Can you imagine how much more interesting the Invasion would have been if just a handful of those guys were part of the Alliance?
Yeah.
Damn sure wouldn't have needed Stone Cold to helm, that's for sure. Well, I'm Brian Zane, and after a long month of crappy reboots, I need a long shower. I'll see you next time.
I liked the Invasion because I liked WCW. I also like the new WCW logo.
Really?
Yeah, I even bought a shirt.
I thought it was plain as
I
fuck.
really liked the new
I
logo.
thought it was over simplistic.
I liked it. It was spiky and it was red. And it looked really cool. It looks like that one Red Hood shirt. And I liked all the belts. I like belts.
Way too many belts
I like
at one
belts.
time. They meant
You're
nothing.
You're just agreeing with Foley.
No, they
I-
meant nothing.
I liked all the belts.
They kept being like Foley and Zayn here said they got traded all. It meant nothing. The
That's
belts
fine.
meant nothing because they got traded all the time.
Still cool. Still belt.
You like the design of the belts then?
Yeah, I like the WCW, especially the WCW design belts.
All right, that's fine, but you can't
But I like
disagree
having
that they
a lot
didn't
of
mean anything.
championships. Either way, I like having a lot of championships. I think it's cool.
But what is it? What do the championships have to mean something?
Well, it's cool to have 2 tag team champions, and
Is it?
but more so than anything, it's the WCW representative champion versus the WWE champions, and then like, oh, now I have your team's belt. I think it's cool.
Okay, but alright. So at the point when the alliance was like half WWF guys, because like it didn't fucking matter.
Uh-huh.
Did it matter that a WWF guy with that, like for instance, did it matter to you that the Dudley Boys, who at that point were kind of WWF guys, really, had the WWF belts but under the WCW umbrella? Like, did it fucking matter at that point?
Well, no, except for depending on who you're rooting for. If you're rooting for the invasion, the alliance, if they have WWF's belts, then they're winning in the sense because they have their belts. I think it was probably more even. I don't really know. I have to go into the stats. I don't know if at one point the invasion had like all the belts or not, but that would be cool if they did. But that's what I like. I like all the different belts. It's like trophies, and there can be multiple trophies per matches. I don't know. I think it's cool.
I think there needed to be at least a fewer belts, and if not fewer switches of the belts, fewer title switches during that whole couple of months, because it's like every week on SmackDown you saw somebody lose a damn title to somebody else who didn't fucking matter, and then somebody else who didn't matter
I
came
think
and
that's what was
won
fun.
the title.
It kept it exciting. It's like all of a sudden these belts are switching. You want to watch every show because there could be a title change.
But here's part of the problem with it being exciting, I think. That was touched on there was the contracts, was the fact that it felt like it was the WWF guys who had a strong roster at that point versus WCW guys who didn't have the strongest roster at that point. I feel like if Vince had ponied up the money to get one other guy, if Vince had ponied up to say, I'll buy out your contract, Goldberg, or I'll buy out your contract, Nash, or I'll buy out your contract, Flair, it would have been more exciting. I think that could have helped the invasion angle more than just because the roster they had, like they were talking about, you had like Jindrak and Hugh Morris, who were good wrestlers, but weren't big names at all.
No, but it was exciting because it was all the younger guys. We didn't need old Hogan and old Macho Man and I don't know about Goldberg at the time, or Brett or any of those guys.
You needed one other guy. You needed one guy.
Goldberg
the biggest WCW name they had was Booker T.
Right, maybe Goldberg because he was an actual WCW guy. Everyone else was former WWF guys anyway, so it wouldn't have made a big difference. Luger was back and forth, and Macho was back and forth, and Hogan was back and forth, so it doesn't really matter. But maybe a Flair or a Goldberg or I don't know who else. Because they had the main WCW guys, so in a sense it wasn't that bad. But they brought the champion in, so the champion. Steiner would have helped, but he was also a guy that went back and forth.
Yes, well, not really. Well, yes and no. By that point, Hogan was he was established as Hollywood Hogan. He was an established WCW guy. Like, he had spent all those years in WWF, and that's fine, but this was a different phase in his career.
Yeah, but it still would have been Hogan's back in WWF. He wouldn't have given us NWO, he's back in WWF.
Yeah, but so had they had the NWO come in, that would have, the dynamic of the
but
NWO
then you want NWO
in
teaming with
2001.
WCW.
Huh?
But the NWO shouldn't be teaming with WCW. They wanted to kill WCW.
Yeah.
So if anything, they should have teamed WWF. So because that was the rumor anyway.
Or been an outside entity.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been. That's the other part. I don't think WCW and ECW should have aligned.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it should have
They
been
should have stayed separate.
right. I think it should have been
And they should have brought their belts.
You and these fucking belts.
They didn't even bring the hardcore title. They didn't even bring the cruiserweight tag team titles. There was belts they didn't even bring.
There were a whole lot.
They could have brought more belts.
There were a whole lot of belts at that point. Like the European title kept getting traded every fucking day, and the U.S. title kept getting traded every fucking day. And I think I think they saved the Intercontinental Championship a couple of times from getting too traded around. But even then, like I don't think
it was fun. It was a very fun time. Yes, the crescendo, if that's the right word I'm using, sucked. The end of it with Vince McMahon winning and Survivor Series. I was watching live SurvivorSeries.com and reading live what was happening. Not watching. I was reading live.
Yeah.
What was happening to see who was winning each match and see what was going to be because I wanted it to be WCW. And then
you
Vince
knew it
won.
would never have been done. Because at that point,
I was still too young.
Because by the time it was at that point, there was half the fucking alliance was WWF. They had quietly fired a lot of the WCW guys that they had at Invasion.
But at that point, the whole thing was like, is it going to be named WWF or is it going to be named WCW?
But who fucking cared at that point? It was almost all WWF guys.
Yeah.
It didn't fucking matter. That was the problem. It didn't matter.
The situation with them winning sucked because then it just went back to normal. And then we had these weird situations of WCW guys keeping jobs.
Yeah.
And it was really bad storylines from then on out for a while.
Yeah,
Until 2002 with Lesnar coming in, kind of just smoothing everything out. Like, it was weird. And then they still like, oh, we're just going to go against this versus thing and do a draft. I was like, wait. Okay. And now the draft is weird because now we're changing gimmicks.
But see, I think jumping ahead, I think they should have done that. I think they should have stuck with that plan because the whole reason for Raw versus SmackDown was the plan of what they were kind of going to do in the first place, and that's what they should have fucking done.
Yeah.
It should have been WCW has its show.
Yeah.
And okay, fine. If they're aligned with ECW, fine. You have a segment of ECW guys doing ECW shit. Fine. If that's what you want to do. Have like 20 minutes of ECW matches in WCW. But that's what it should have been. It should have been an alternative show. You want to keep Raw, that's your flagship show, keep Raw. Thursdays/Fridays will be the WCW show. It never should have been the full week of them doing this and trading belts like, okay, and you wanted to keep that's how you keep all your belts. Because there's two separate shows. And Raw has its 4 or 5 belts and SmackDown has its 4 or 5 belts.
Which we had anyway. We ended up having Raw with a WCW title and Intercontinental title and WWF tag titles.
That's right.
And then, or World Tag titles. And then we had the WWE Championship, the United States title, and the WWE Tag Team titles, and then the Cruiserweight title.
That's right. So
they could have done that. It would have been fine.
Yes.
And one would have been called WCW, and I would have gotten the shirt. I think I have it. I don't know. I'm really sad if I don't. And
I think I've seen you in it before.
No, I have an Outsiders shirt, but I think WCW shirt they sent me in like a double XL or something. I don't fucking remember. Now I'm gonna look for it. And yeah, that would have been cool to have Thursday night WCW.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then have Monday Night Raw, and then every once in a while, maybe on pay-per-views, they can coincide.
Right.
Or, dream matches like Lesnar and Goldberg were supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Have it, maybe champion versus champion, just for bragging rights, though, not for changing titles. But then, you can end up doing that in the future, change titles here and there, and then you have to merge them.
Well, that's kind of what we got with the later portion of the brand extension. That's how we got Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle.
I want the WCW tag title. Those were things. So can we bring those back? And I like the WCW United States title. And I still love the WWE United States title. I like all United States titles. I just saw a picture of Roddy Piper where the belt is the United States.
That one was interesting.
It's the United States.
That one was very interesting.
Outlined in gold.
That one wasn't interesting.
Oh, that was cool too. I hate red, white, and blue together. I won't wear red, and blue, but I love the United States title.
You're a commie? You're a traitor?
Obviously.
Commie, traitor, char country. That's his long story short. My long story short is I agree. The fucking Invasion angle sucked, and we gotta wrap this up. But part of the reason why it sucked really was, and he touched on it very briefly, backstage shit. That Buff Bagwell Booker T match wasn't the worst fucking match ever. It certainly wasn't the worst match WWF had ever had.
The crowd.
And it certainly wasn't right. They were confused. They didn't really know what to do. Like it was a fine. It was an average match. And
there's no saying a lot of those people didn't even know who those two guys were.
Right. Exactly.
Because they might have never watched WCW.
Exactly.
Like WWF through and through, tattooed on their wrist.
Exactly.
And like, who are these guys? And they're just doing like a basic match.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Probably told them, hey, go out there and don't do any fancy shit. Just go out there and do your own thing. Or maybe they were scared to do too much, possibly.
Right.
And then Buff Bagwell's mom called in sick for him.
That's right.
See you later.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, he got locked out of the building, Nassau Coliseum, and he couldn't get back in. And then how are you going to know where they're going next?
And there were stories about guys talking shit about the WCW guys. That, like, there's a infamous story of the Undertaker going and saying that Palumbo and who was his partner? No.
Oh, Ginger, no.
Chronic.
Sean O'Hare.
Oh, Sean O'Hare. Yeah, Sean O'Hare. That they were dangerous. That's why Chronic only did one pay-per-view, because they said that they were dangerous too. This is the Undertaker saying this stuff. Respected backstage guy, and it's like the stories weren't necessarily true. Like,
but it got explained. It was a whole roster of WWF guys, and now a whole roster of WCW guys coming in, and now your paycheck's going smaller because now you have all these guys who were the enemy in your locker room. And you're like, you fuckers tried to put us out of business. You're the competition. Yeah, some of them might have been friends. But it's like, for the most part, you're a bunch of fucking low-card mid-carders. Who the fuck are you? Why are you here? Why are you taking our spots? Everyone wants their spots. All about spots.
Yeah.
I have new guys. Well, that's how the NXT people get treated when they come in.
Possibly. And I would imagine that upper management didn't explain the plan that they had for the invasion angle
They didn't know the plan.
all that well, and because they probably didn't have a fucking plan.
I like belts.
He loves belts. I hated the invasion
all
angle.
The belts.
I'm right. He's wrong. What do you think, party people? Do you think I'm right and he's wrong, or he's right and I'm wrong?
Belt here.
You're not Ultimo Dragon. He feels like he's Ultimo Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5. 2 on your chest. 6. 1 diagonal.
Yeah, there you go.
7 and 8.
Yeah, you can.
8 belts. That's both tag team titles, both world titles, U.S., Intercontinental, both cruiserweights. Fucking done.
Hall of Fame ring, King of the Ring king,
crown. The King of the Ring belt. I love that belt.
I kind of like the King of the Ring belt too. I kind of liked it too.
He's buried with that belt.
Party people, tell us what you think about all that, this, that, or the other. YouTube.com/0469 support. Blue button that says support. YouTube.com/the next big thing 0. Go click and like his videos and subscribe to all that. There's a Friends Seen It. That's fucking hilarious. Me, him, and Ninja Camera Woman getting drunk.
We just gotta edit it.
We're trying to.
Put it on his laptop.
We're trying to. So I'm gonna wrap this up so we can do that. Boom. Boom. The invasion sucks.
Suplex City, bitch. Suplex City, bitch. Suplex City, bitch. Suplex City, bitch.